Okay, we'll start. For the teaching and learning strategies applied is cooperative learning, and the cross-curricular elements is P and C, or the people and culture, and the domain is personal. The theme is AOT, the action-oriented task, and the topic for this lesson plan is the Wheel of Fortune. There are two skills applied, two skills involved, which is the listening and also speaking. And for the content standards, first, for the students to speak with correct intonation, stress, and sentence rhythm in order to communicate. Second is for the student to listen to engage in meaningful conversations. Meanwhile, for the learning standards, students should be able to speak with correct intonation, stress, and sentence rhythm. Secondly, they will be able to listen to and respond to questions and information. Thirdly, they will be able to understand the context of communication by listening. And there are 4 high-order thinking skills involved, which are the knowledge, understanding, application, and also synthesis. In this lesson plan, the expectations or the learning objectives is that by the end of this lesson, students should be able to make friends and keep friendships by talk about self, family, friends, past events, feelings, and understanding when others talk about themselves. Secondly, by exchanging ideas and giving opinions on topic of interest. And thirdly, by taking part in conversations and also discussions. There are 3 C involved in this lesson plan, that are the communication, collaborative, and also creative. The success criteria, or where are we going with this lesson plan, is that first, for the students to be able to make sentences to communicate with their friends. And secondly, for the student to be able to listen and speak in order to engage in a meaningful communication. Thirdly, for the student to be able to get to know each other better.
For the first teaching stage is the set induction. The set induction is an important step that a teacher has to do, because this is to make sure that the students are ready and they are focusing on the subject they are going to learn for the day. So the first thing that the teacher will do is to greet the students, and then the students will greet the teacher back, and then the teacher will interact with the students first before starting the class. And then the teacher will engage the students into the ice-breaking activity, which is related to the spinning wheel activity that they are going to do. And then the teacher will introduce the spinning wheel activity to the students. After that, the teacher will ask the students to form a good group of 4. The reason why this activity is suitable to be done in groups is because it will be more time saving, as the students will introduce themselves inside smaller groups, and this can help to cooperate with students that has anxiety to talk in front of the large crowd. So Being in a small crowd will make them feel more secure, and this will ensure the activity going well. So the students then will have to listen to what the teacher is saying, because they are going to do the activity and then they will form a group. The second stage is the presentation. So in this part, the teacher will demonstrate to the students how the game is played, and then the students will learn and watch how the teacher played the game. So they have guidance to how to play the game, and this will ensure the flow of the class to be well. And so after spinning the wheel, the teacher will then give an example. For instance, the teacher got the word food. So the students will then have to ask any question related to food. For example, what is your favorite food? Or what was the last food you ate? Or how food is related with you? We don't know. Anything related to food. That's for example. And then the teacher will then before really starting the game, the teacher will then ask the students to play one time, and then after that the students will then like try to follow with the teacher, with how the teacher guides them, and then they will play on their own. This is for the second stage. The third stage is the practice. So in this stage, the teacher will no longer be the center of the class. The students will then take over the class, and then they will proceed the games into their groups. So the role of the teacher here is only to observe and to guide the students. So the teacher will like observe the group of students, and the teacher will guide the students if they are facing problems. I think, in my opinion, this method is more efficient and time saving, because it doesn't require the teacher to observe the student one by one. So what will the students do in this stage? The students will play the game in groups. So let me tell you how the game is played by the students. So firstly, student A will spin the wheel, and then he or she will get a word, and then the other students in the group will then ask questions to student A, anything about the word, like the example that I gave just now, earlier in the video. And then the students will communicate with each other inside this. So there will be a process of speaking, and other students will listen. This is how listening and speaking is implemented inside this game. After that, the game will finish after all 4 students have spin the wheel. So after every group have done their game, we will move on to the next stage, which is the production stage. So the teacher will again take control of the class, and the teacher will ask feedbacks from the students of how do they feel about the game, how does the game improve their communication skills, their listening skills, how does the game makes their friendship inside the class, because this is more of an ice-breaking game. And then the teacher will then give the teacher will then tell the students the aim of the game, so that the students understand, oh, this game is for us to know each other, for us to enhance our listening and speaking skills. So the students will then give feedbacks to the teacher, so that they know, so that two-way communication happens between the student and the teacher. And when this happens, this is what we call effective teaching and learning process. The teacher has gained something from the students, and the students have learned something from the class. Last but not least, the closure. So in this stage, the teacher will then conclude everything that they have learned. The teacher will conclude what their feedback was, and in this stage, it is important because this is like a closure for a class. So why do we need closure for a class? So let's say the students have like questions inside their minds, and the teacher doesn't give any closure, so the students will be left hanging with questions. So it is important. And then after that, the students will then listen attentively, and they will recall back of what they learned inside the class just now. After that, the teacher dismisses the class. That's all for the teaching stage for the spinning wheel activity face-to-face class. Thank you.
Okay, so the enrollment for online class lesson plan is cross-curricular elements, and then the subject is English language, people and culture. The domain of the lesson plan is personal. Also, the theme is action-oriented tasks, and the topic that we pick for online class is the pickerwheel.com because we do the online learning, so we use the website pickerwheel.com. And then the skill that include in this lesson plan in this learning is of course listening and speaking. The content standard of listening and speaking in this lesson plan is 1.1. Students speak with correct intonation, stress, and sentences rhythm in order to communicate. And 1.2, students listen to engage in meaningful conversation. We also have the learning standards in this lesson plan. First one is speak with correct intonation, stress, and sentences rhythm. The second learning standards is listen. Students listen to and respond to questions and information. And then students understand the context of communication while listening. In this lesson plan, we also have high order thinking skill, that knowledge, understanding, application, and synthesis. We also have learning objection. In this lesson plan, by the end of this lesson, students should able to 1. Make friends and keep friendships by talk about self, family, friends, past events, feelings, and understanding when others talk about themselves. Second, exchanging ideas and giving opinions of topic of interest. Third one is taking part in conversation and discussions. The first C's that used in this lesson plan in only three: communication, collaborative, and creative. This lesson plan is having the success criteria. Where are we going? First, success criteria is students able to make sentences to communicate with other friends. And the second, students listen and speak in order to engage in a meaningful communication. Third, students get to know each other. So this is mean in this lesson plan, the purpose of picker wheel is students able to engage in communication and they get to know among them friends. And then for the teaching activity will be explained.
Hi, Dean's here. So I will be the one who's going to explain to you the activity, the teaching activity for online class. Okay. So let's get started. First one is the teacher will start by doing the set induction. Set induction is actually also known as the anticipatory set. Okay. It is like a of set of steps taken by educators, teachers and lecturers before they begin a class. Okay. For my group, okay, for the lesson plan, in the lesson plan for physical or face-to-face class and for online class, both lesson plan, we put in set induction, because for us set induction is very important, because we want our student to get ready, to be ready for the lesson that they're going to learn on the day. Okay, we want to make sure that we are able to get the students' attention before the class begin, and to make sure the student is focused, and to make sure the student understand what are we going to learn on that day. All right, and then in the set induction, the teacher will greet the students, good morning, and the student will answer, good morning, teacher, and they will settle down. And then the teacher will ask the student to guess what kind of activity that they're going to do on that day. Okay, during that class, the student will have to guess. After 2 or 3 guesses, then the teacher will explain. Okay, which means we're moving to the next teaching activity stage, which is the presentation, which will took the teacher, the educators, 15 minutes, around 15 minutes. Okay, and during this presentation, the teacher will explain what is activity that I'm going to play, which is the spinning wheels. Okay, but the spinning wheels for online class, we are not going to use the physical spinning wheels. We are going to use online spinning wheels. Okay, that it's from a website called Picker Wheels, www.pickerwheels.com. Remember, okay? Because one, we are trying to avoid using the physical picker wheel, because we are afraid that students won't be able to see the words clearly, because it's going to be like a video call meeting. Okay, so online video call can be blurry, be very blurry, and we're not able to see many things clearly. So yeah, that's why we choose to use the online picker wheels, the online spinning wheels. All right, so after that, okay, during the presentation, also the teacher will actually choose 2 or 3 students to be involved in the demonstration that the teacher will be doing. Okay, so the teacher will explain to them that once the teacher spin the wheels, okay, the student that they picked will be the one who is going to answer any question given by their friends, by their classmates, by the teacher itself. All right. Just right, before I forgot that the spinning wheels activity, the way that the teacher held the activity is quite different from the ones for physical class, face-to-face class, because for online class, the person who's going to spin the wheel is not going to be the student. Okay, it's going to be the teacher. So while in physical class, the student are the one who is going to spin the wheels. Okay, they're going to spin the wheels and see what word they're going to get. Okay, but unlike online class, since student won't be in front of us, then the teacher has to be the one who's going to spin the wheel. Okay, and then the teacher will give students some chance to ask any question related related to the activity before they actually begin doing the activity. Okay, and then we're going to move to the next stage, which is practice. Approximately 15 minutes will be taken. During the online class, the teacher will ask students to divide themselves in groups, and once the teacher spin the wheel, okay, the teacher will pick one representative from each group, okay, and the other student who is not being selected by the teacher will be the one who's going to ask question to the person that has been picked, the selected ones. But students are not allowed to ask question to the representative that is actually a part of them group members. Okay, each group will need to ask different will need to ask question to a different person. Okay, from the person who's from other group. Okay. So the student, okay, if the representative managed to answer the question given by the student or by the teacher, they will receive marks. Okay, so groups with higher marks will receive gifts. Okay, and then after that, student will the one who got the lowest one will not receive any punishment, but just more encouragement to make sure that they can participate more in the class. Yeah, and then we're going to move to production, which also will take approximately another 15 minutes. So during this production, the teacher will take control of the class again, and the teacher will ask the student to talk about the question that are related to the topic by the game that they played. Okay. For example, the teacher will ask, what do you think that we have learned during the game played? Okay. And then the student will have to answer the question given by the teacher then. And lastly is the closure. So the teacher will have to ask feedbacks from the student. For example, so what do you feel about the game, about the activity that we've played today during the lesson? Okay, how do you feel now? What did you feel during the game? And do you think you learned something today by playing the game? All right, and then proceed by concluding the class. Lastly, dismiss the class. Okay, so yeah, that is actually all of it. So I hope you understand the teaching activity for the online class. I am sorry if my points might be unclear to some of you, but yeah, I hope you understand everything. Okay.